Bro, how did the poop get right there, bro? How did it poop sideways? How does a bird drop a bomb sideways right into the side of it? Okay, I see maybe a bird was right there and then poop and then go right there, but the fact that it just... Anyway, what up YouTube? This is the Young Chevy Truck YouTube channel where I plan on showing you how to build a 1984 Chevy C10 truck that just burns rubber, ain't meant to be fast, and only meant to be fun for you. And in this episode, after the commentary I got from the last video, I got ideas. Thanks to y'all. So, I think what I'm gonna do is simply connect these two wires, ground out what would be a switch right there, but ground it out completely so that when I go and cut the ignition on, the fan should cut on because it's gonna think that this is grounded out. That's what it does when the switch heats up. It grounds out the whole situation and continues the connection and then cuts the fan on because the connection is continued. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm going to see if the fan cuts on. And if it does cut on, then I guess we'll just kind of work from there. But if it does cut on, then we know that the wiring is right and that the placement of the thermostat is wrong. And I think if I was gonna go to any other place on the motor, it would be on the opposite side. I also noticed my daggone wire separators are getting way too hot now because there's no fan blowing anymore. So the daggone wire separators sit above the header with no fan on, and then they daggone start melting. So I gotta do something about that too. But that's another story for a whole nother day. There's a plug right behind there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let's see if I can. There it is, right there. But I think that will be a good substitute for this situation because it's literally the exact same situation as the temp gauge that's sitting inside the truck right now. It's sitting, the port is on the side of the cylinder head, so it should be pretty accurate over there as well. So I think that's the backup, because I have plenty of this wire that they supplied. I mean, it didn't come in the kit, but I went and got the same gauge size wire because I thought I was gonna have to extend another gauge wire that's about that size. I thought I was gonna have to extend this, didn't have to, but so I got like a good couple feet that I can use to route this over to here, and enough to really put all the wiring out of the way of anything that's really important and really hot. I might have to get some kind of wrap though for the wire, because that is a very hot spot, as you can see. And without the fan cutting on, look, that's already starting to stick. So I need to do something about that, because this was sitting above, and literally just the heat that rises from them made it start to droop. Even the other one started to droop over here. It's starting to stretch out, and it wasn't like that before. So yeah, I need to do something about that. But that's, like I said, for another day. Let's go ahead and connect these two somehow, and then we'll spin it and see what happens. Alright y'all, I don't think this is a good ground, but we're gonna see if this is what what works though, because I'm just trying to ground it out to make the fan think that the engine is hot when I flip the switch. So people say, believe it or not, put it straight on the battery. Okay. That's what I didn't think that was okay, but I guess because I have a relay, it's fine. Yeah. Because it's a relay and it's meant to hold some power. Turn it off and turn it on. Yeah. As needed. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So with this wired up the way it is, I should be able to go turn the ignition on, and the fan will come on instantly. Yeah. Okay. But if that doesn't work, then I'll try to find another place for this ground, because it should work. It should be cool. Or just make that a better ground. Yeah, or just make it a better ground, and then try that. Sure, the place is good. Any place is good. Yeah, probably. So let me go flip it. All right, y'all. And also, you have to excuse us because we're getting we got an ant problem. So you know, we got people in and out the house trying to figure out this ant situation. You know what I'm saying? So the 12 gauge won't hit them all. So you know, I had to call them for backup. All right, so let's flip the ignition on and see if it works. No, it doesn't. Not at all. I think that's because of the ground. Might be. Okay, keep this combination together, because the only good one I got, and it was makeshift. I found it on short notice. So let's give me a pat on the back for that finagle. Thanks. After this job, before I go on to another one, I'm cleaning out my garage. For sure. Before I even mess with the carburetor, I'm cleaning out the garage because it's getting on my nerves. That's gotta be good. It's on the frame. What about that? Yeah, there we go. Alright, that's gotta be good. Let's zoom in for them. Let's show them the full, like, look at that, y'all. That's a good ground right there. That's a good ground. So it's got to be good now.
Alrighty.
So we got good connection up here, holding it down.
Definitely.
It's hot. We know that. And we got a good ground for where the switch would be. So if it don't cut on here, then it's definitely another wiring issue that I need to explore. So.
And we're just gonna switch it on.
Yep, I'm just gonna switch the ignition on. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. I don't know why. I just feel like that might be luckier. Maybe if you're holding the camera, then just
I bring the good luck.
the universe will align, and then we'll turn the key and it'll work.
Stars and the moon.
Tell me how that poop got right there on the side.
Oh, you should see the back of the Altima.
I saw it, but how the heck did it got on the top of the Altima? It didn't like.
And neither car is up.
Did he like throw it like when he was?
Neither car is under a tree anymore.
Like did he like throw the? Did he bomb the poop? Like you know what I mean?
Fire in the hole.
Like did he? Did he like fly over and say "Pew," like that?
You would think, because like I said, there's no trees for him to hang out and get target practice from.
I see here. I understand that, but that it's on the side. Let me stop talking.
Oh well. Okay. So much for poop. Let's see this fan work. Arrgh. So now I'm thinking, what about the relay?
I think it has to do with my wiring.
The wiring.
Yeah. It's definitely my wiring. And you know, another problem, I need to tell you this. Somebody said that the thermostatic switch is way too far away from where the temp gauge is actually sensing. So this would, that and the fact that the thermostat is right next to it is getting all the cool fluid.
Oh, that makes sense.
But I've seen someone run this exact setup. We saw it at a car meet, and it's on the vlog too.
Okay.
We saw someone run a setup that went right here.
All right, thank you, sir.
So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And
check your page out.
Okay,
thank
please
you.
do. That makes sense. But even eventually, it seemed like eventually this would still get hot enough. I see what you're saying about the cool being here, but and if you took it out of there, where else would you put it?
I was gonna put it on the opposite side.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I would just put it in there. I'm not really on that yet, but I'm just saying like this is they're saying they're claiming that. I don't really believe that just yet.
Okay, so we're not gonna do that just yet because that's a lot of work in vain.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
a lot of work in vain. I don't think that's the case. Oh y'all get your merch. There you go. Link in description. What I'm gonna do is mess with the ignition port in here.
Fuse box.
Yeah, that connection. Cause I think everything else out here is good. All right, y'all. So now we got the switch that's supposed to be in an ignition switch source. We have that in a different port in the fuse box. Let's see if that turns the fan on. Okay guys, I just took a little look at the directions, right? And they said that this is supposed to go, it even says it right there. Let me make sure it's focused though. Right there. To an ignition switch or, yeah, to switch to power. So basically they're saying anything that's on when you turn the key. Anything that's live when you turn the key. But in the instructions they do talk about if you apply battery 12 volts to this wire, the fan will run until the thermostat senses the engine has cooled off to below 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you put that on the battery, for instance, then basically they're saying it'll keep the fan on until the engine cools down. So I'm thinking if I bring that wire out and I touch it on there, then it might just make the fan cut on. It might jump start the fan. So let me pull this wire out, route it out here again, and put it on the battery and see if that makes it cut on, because I think it will. I just need to see that my wiring is straight. But I guess even if I did pull that out, then the wiring wouldn't be straight. But I would love to blame the reason why it's not working on the wiring and not on the location of this thermostat. And so far, it's not blaming it on the location of the thermostat. We're having wiring issues. So I guess that's a win in some way, shape, or form. But yeah. So let's go ahead and route this wire back out, and then we'll put it on the battery and see what that does. Okay, I'm a little scared of doing this, but we're just gonna do it, see what happens. It might kick and spark. Wait a minute. I got to move. Well, I heard it. Could you come take a look at this? I think this is the problem. The ignition switch isn't good for some reason. When we first did this and we had the fuse in there, right?
Right.
We had an ignition switch in the fuse box, and it says IGN,
right.
And I knew for a fact that it worked because I would go and flip the switch with it connected to the inline fuse and out to the fan, and then the fan grounded. All of that, when I flipped the switch, the fan would work. It would just be a little janky, and the fuse would blow. So I know that port works. I know that for a fact.
Okay, good.
But for some reason, when I plugged in this one today, it doesn't want to work like that.
All right.
Because now, I want you to see, I want you to witness this.
That's it? Okay.
That's it.
So, where are you connecting that to that it doesn't work?
In the fuse box, in that same position. Hope it didn't blow nothing out in there. But that can be possible. No. I couldn't have blown it out that bad. Because it blew a fuse. It blew a fuse every time. So now we see that's what's going to work. So I just need to find someplace in the fuse box
that where it will work.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the problem. It's wiring. It's our wiring situation. So we can
it is, yeah.
We can take out, well, for now anyway,
so
we can say
this could end up being helpful.
Yeah,
I didn't think it could,
but for now we can say that this is not the issue.
Right.
The thermostatic switch, which is what this is. It's not really necessarily, we can't call it as the issue.
Right.
Because we just got the fan to work right now.
So we need to put that back. Whatever was hooked up there, and reverse trace things so you can find where you're gonna put this guy and he'll start working.
Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna have to try a couple things, and then we'll go off camera and try a couple things, and then I'll give you guys the very last thing, the finished product of us just finding a good place for the ignition switched power supply. So yeah. So that's cool. At least we're gaining ground.
Yep.
Which is good. It's always good. So yeah, we're gonna get to that and we'll get back to y'all. All right. About to turn the key. Got a new spot. Let's see. No, nothing. That's okay. Need to find another one. Okay, new location. I put it back in the same IGN location. Now that we have a for sure ground again, so let's just try it there. Alright y'all, I think the plug I have it in right now is a constant on. It's not an ignition on. I'm about to touch to the terminal to see if what I plugged it in is like a constant on or not. So if it doesn't come on, I'm not gonna worry, and then I'm gonna try to turn the ignition on and see if that makes it come on. So let's see here. Alright. So it might not be an ignition on.
Go right to the terminal since we're touching.
Should all be the same right now, but
okay. So now you want to switch it on?
Yeah, after I hook it up to everything first. Alright, so now wire attached. I should be able to go flip the ignition on and the fan will come on. Should. So let's see. Let's see.
It's on.
Yes!
I don't know what you did or how you did it.
I am a genius, that's what it is.
Well, part of that.
And all thanks to the viewers, of course, for helping me through all this.
So, this tells us what?
This tells us a lot of things. This tells us that the wiring situation is good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is now. It's telling us that the wiring situation that I had before was bad, and that's why it wasn't cutting on.
Mm-hmm.
So now that anyway, but now that we know that our wiring situation is good, and we know what's good, like what power is good, like from everywhere, we can take this, put it under here for good, put it underneath the terminal for good, and you know, of course, hide it and put it where it should go, and you know, make it look pretty. We need to hook the switch back up again to see if the thermostatic switch is actually going to cut on at 195 like we hope. Now that we have like a good wiring setup and I know like what port is good and what area is good. So yeah, and I guess for right now I have it plugged in the place where my kickdown switch used to be, but right now I'm not hooning, I'm not going crazy, so I don't really need a kickdown switch right now.
Okay.
Kickdown switch for the transmission. So I took it out of there and then put this one in there. It's constant on.
Okay.
Well, no, it's not constant on. It's ignition on. So, oh wait, yeah, I'm tripping. See, I'm gonna leave that in the video so people see like I'm human.
So which is it? It's constant on or it's
It is ignition on.
ignition on?
Yeah.
Same thing as constant, right?
No, constant is like that.
Oh.
That's constant. It's on the battery. But then when you flip the ignition on, it's not constant.
Okay.
Because it's off when the ignition is off and then on when the ignition is on.
Okay.
I think it's time we do a little bit of work. Y'all know what we're about to do. We're about to wire up the thermostatic switch again. Make a final home for this constant hot wire, and then we should be good to go. And then after that, I hate that I can't finish this soon, but yeah, we're just gonna have to come back to it next week because we got stuff to do later today and I gotta work the weekend. So yeah, so we're at the very least we know more today, and at least for some kid out there who's messing with the same thing, they'll know to reference, or they'll be able to reference this video and know what things to test and what things to try. So let's just go over what we did first and foremost. We made the ground solid. This is where a switch would be. This is where the thermostatic switch would have been, from the relay to the switch, and then from the switch to the ground. That's what it should be, but we just grounded it just so that we can watch, you know, what power sources were good. That's really the key for all this. When you have an old truck like this, power sources are weird. You don't know what's what, like a new car is, because everything's probably labeled and pretty and nothing's been tampered with. But with these, everything's been tampered with, so you don't know what's what. So ground it out first just for test reasons. That's what I would recommend. And then I would also just probe around and try to find a good ignition on source for this wire right here. That's gonna be a pain also. And after you find that place, then you should be good, and then you can it'll just help you understand like the whole situation behind it. So yeah, I've been fooling with this a couple days, but I'm learning a whole lot about how this should be set up, and I could definitely set it up again on another car like twice as fast. So like I used to hate on like all the electronics and stuff, and I was hating on like how it all worked, but after this I'm feeling better about it, Kennedy.
All right. That's what we want. We want to feel good.
Yeah. So then when I have a for real like super hot rod, you know, I can wire up a good fan setup for it.
This is definitely proving ground. Training day, training ground, something.
Yeah. All right, we're going to wire the switch back up, spin it over, and test it to see if the switch is now the new issue, but I don't think it is. I think the switch is going to come on right at about 190 something. And I'm telling y'all, that can't be the problem. The switch, I knew the switch wasn't the problem. I say that now until we're actually at 200 degrees. I don't think the switch is the problem, bro. I really don't. I just don't. I don't see it. It don't compute. I'm sorry, but it just don't compute. So let me get to wiring this whole situation back up and I'll update y'all in about 2 seconds. Okay, checking in for y'all. I want y'all to see this is wired back up again with the ground, of course. Same ground that we were using before. And it's going straight to the relay. We still got this wire straight on the battery. And we're gonna make a final fix for that. We're literally gonna put it right up under there in a little bit. So yeah, so we should be able to crank it up now. Of course, we're gonna make sure everything's out the way and wires won't fall all over the place. Speaking of it, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just do like that. Make sure that wire don't go anywhere. Yep, I'm gonna go anywhere. Out of the way, out of bounds. But everything is wired up. So basically it's in test mode still. I don't even have a circuit breaker on this wire yet. I'm probably gonna mount the circuit breaker right there. Still gotta do that. I still gotta mount the relay also, but it's in test mode. I should be able to crank it up now. It should be able to come up to temp, and it should be able to cut the fan on at 195. It should work. It should work pretty good. I'm confident in this right now. I really am. But it should be together. And then, of course, after that, like I said, I know the spacer is still on there, but I don't have bolts that are that big. I don't have bolts that are that small. I need bolts that are significantly smaller than that. I'm gonna have to go get some bolts for that to make this whole situation look a little prettier. And I want to change the mounting situation for the bottom. The mounting situation for the bottom is hideous. So yeah. Like I said, I got Kevin Dean out here now. Everything is good. I think everything's out the way. See how I'm holding this out the way? It's genius though, right?
It is genius.
It's not going anywhere.
Mm-mm.
So yep, I'm gonna crank it up and then we'll listen
watch
to
the temperature gauge go to 190.
Mm-hmm.
And then automatically this guy ought to kick in.
Yeah. Like I said, y'all, get your merch. Link in description. Okay. You notice it didn't come on because it's not hot enough yet. Now that we have the thermostatic switch hooked up to it. Mm-hmm. So, my muffler sounds so terrible now. I have to do something about that soon because it's gonna aggravate me. Yeah, I'm getting muffler soon. Not getting there yet though. But guys, I hope everybody can hear me. I think what I'm gonna do if it doesn't open is I'm just gonna literally get another thermostatic switch that works at a lower temperature rating to try to trick it, because it's gonna be a pain in the butt to move the switch all the way over to the other side of the engine, right next to where the header is. I don't want it to be close to the header because I don't want it to fail next to all the heat. So that would be the plan if it doesn't work. But I think it's gonna work. I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. It's gonna work. And I'd be right for once. Because everybody was saying, you're discounting the problem before you even start the project. And I'm just like, I know that's not it. Like, that's just, I don't believe it. I'm not going for that one. That's just not it. And if I am still wrong, I'm gonna cut all this out. Alright, it's creeping up there. It should come on at 195. So right now, creeping up on 190. Alright, it should be at 195 now. I would have hoped that it would come on from that. So we still might need another thermostatic switch. Alright, this is what usually the temp does because of the big fat radiator. So it'll come down one time and then it'll go back up and then keep going. Okay. So if it doesn't go back up and keep going, then I'm gonna look for another thermostatic switch. And
or while you got this current rig, can't you unplug both wires, touch them together and see if, or did you do that already?
Well, yeah, I did that during the testing. Okay. So I really want the switch to work right now. That's for test purposes. Mm-hmm. I need the switch to cut it on. Yeah, it should be on right now. Yeah, it should be on. If I see it go over that, then I'm gonna cut it off. Yeah, it should be on right now. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off. Yeah. So now at least we can isolate all the way. First it was wiring. We know that for sure.
Not wiring
we know it's not wiring anymore because we had it all apart and then we tried the different areas with a good ground and with all that. You know, all the stuff was right, you know, because we made sure it was right by taking the switch out completely. Found out like what the best setup was without the switch in the system at all, and we found that, and now with the switch plugged in, now it doesn't want to cut on, and now the switch doesn't want to actuate. So yeah, now we can narrow it down to changing the switch to something else. Gauge is here, but the thermostatic switch is way over here. So
you got
the thermostatic switch
for that reason you got to go lower.
Yeah, I'm thinking
temperature-wise.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might have to go lower. So I think
who's gonna have it?
Probably I'm gonna just go to O'Reilly's first, and then Napa. I feel like Napa would have something weird like this. Yeah. All right. Well, y'all heard it here first. That's what we're about to do. That's what I get for celebrating too early. But it's all good. I need a thermostatic switch for my fan because I have one that's in the intake manifold, right? And I believe, or what I've been told, the fact that there's the thermostatic switch in the intake manifold, it's a different temperature from the temp gauge that's sitting in the side of the cylinder head. And the one that's right next to the thermostat is getting cooler fluid than the one in the cylinder head. Yeah. Do you think that's a possibility? Because we've wired everything up. We even took the switch out of it completely, and we actually just grounded where the switch would be, you know, ground that, you know, it would function as a ground. We grounded it, hooked everything up to the battery, and made sure the wiring situation was good all the way around. But still, when we turn it on and we have it running, it'll get up to 200 degrees and it won't come back down because, you know, the fan won't cut back on. So I was gonna try to get a thermostatic switch that operates, say, at 180 degrees or something, to try to trick it, try to get something that's lower rated, and see if I could trick the situation. Because I don't want to have to move the switch that I have now to another place, because that's going to be a lot of wiring and a lot of headaches. So yeah, that's all I got.
Now none of those are adjustable.
What are they rated for? Because if they're still rated for something lower, then we'll get it.
Doesn't say.
Yeah. Like this.
It's got two little pins.
That's the exact thing that we have, and it's got the two little connectors that come off of it. And so when it gets hot, then the switch activates and grounds out the whole system. I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
You sound like you know what you're talking about. I'm impressed.
Me too.
Come on, Phil. Let me have this one. Alright, y'all, so they don't have another thermostatic switch, so I'm about this close. Since I know what a good wiring situation, a good wiring setup is, you know, with a relay, since I know that now, I think I might just put a manual switch on there and just cut it on when I see fit to cut it on, because it's just like, I think you guys were right about the placing of the thermostatic switch being a little different, which is weird though. It's weird. I think if I had an adjustable system, then I could play with it, but I didn't get an adjustable system. I thought that it was just gonna work. So I think I might just delete all that altogether and then put a manual switch on there somewhere in the cabin. I have plenty of wire for that gauge actually at the house already. So I think I'm just gonna wire it up and then put it somewhere in the cabin of the truck, and then I'll just have a little fan switch that I need to cut on and monitor and all that, because leaving it to something else isn't it ain't working out. But now we're gonna go to Napa, and I'm actually, before I give up hope completely, I'm gonna look at see if they have thermostatic switches at Napa. And if they don't, then I'm gonna get a regular switch from Napa and then bring it on home and call it a day and wire up that switch. Okay, so in order to actually get this to work, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and use this switch with a little light on it. Just because I really, I don't know what I'm gonna do about the whole thermostatic switch, the whole thermostatic part of the whole switch system. Because I could just buy like an adjustable system and try to find the right temp to do it and all that. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and wire a switch up to it. That kit was worth it for the fact that it comes with directions, it tells you everything, but I should have got the adjustable one. So hopefully this information is still valuable to somebody out there, somebody who's trying to see the experience of doing all this. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to wire this up, and I'm gonna literally just take what would be in the intake manifold, take the 2 wires, drag it all the way to the inside of the cabin, and hook it up to this little switch, and put it in the cabin somewhere where I can see, and then yeah, and then that's gonna be the fan switch, and I'll just have to manually do it. But now I know it's safe and I know it's good, and the door's closing itself. But I know that it's safe now, and I know that it's good because of that relay and everything. And now I know more about relays. So I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning. Let's go ahead and get home and see what we can do about this before the day is over. This vlog might be over, but at least we'll have a plan of what we're gonna do next week at the ending of this vlog. Alright y'all, I think that's going to conclude today's video. Yeah, it is going to conclude today's video because I can't do any work on the truck. The truck's outside, it's raining cats and dogs. It's a pain in the butt to film outside and like produce some quality stuff outside when it's raining, because then I can't use the big guy that you're watching me on right now. So that Canon camera is something serious. Canon SL2, for anyone who's wondering, everybody wants one. Canon SL2 with a mic on top is literally like the best like little vlogging setup. The focus is a little wonky sometimes, but it gets it straight most of the time. But yeah, y'all, I learned a lot in this episode, man. I learned a lot about the whole relay situation. Sad but true, I'm not gonna be able to use the thermostatic switch because it won't open up when I want it to. And if I were to use it, then I would have to basically route it all the way over to the other side of the engine, and I'd have to drain the coolant out of the motor and put in the new thermostatic switch, move it, make sure everything's out the way of the headers because they get really hot, so I don't want it to start melting on the little tiny skinny little wire that's gonna run to this switch. I don't want it to melt it. So basically I think it would just be more of a benefit to replace the actual thermostatic switch with a manual switch. And now I know it's safe. Now I know it's safe to use a switch, and I know where it's safe to use that switch because of looking at the directions and wiring up everything. So if I didn't have those directions and if I didn't get the painless kit, I wouldn't be able to figure out the stuff that I found out. I wish I could have got more done because I'm actually getting like excited because I know I have a safe system that's not gonna act too stupid. Because I mean, with the fuse system, it was backfeeding and all that, and I know it's not gonna backfeed with this system because just because of the fact that it's like a relay setup and all that. Like, I know it's safe. I know it's a safe setup now, and I guess that really excites me. So I really want to get this done, but we're gonna have to put it off until next week because I work all weekend. And the way my sleep schedule works, I don't feel like waking up super duper early to work on it because it's just a pain, and I don't get enough sleep. Because I edit the videos until like 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I wake up at like 11 the next day, and then it's time to get ready for work and go. So just like that, y'all, I think this was pretty much over. I still really want to do something about my exhaust. I don't think I even want to drive it until that exhaust is right, because it just makes me so it's just like, it's poop to listen to it make all those ugly noises. So I really want to do something about that soon, and I might if I'm up. Then I might. If my YouTube check look alright, then I might do something like that with it. But I think that's all I got for y'all, man. That's all I got. And just make sure you guys stay tuned. I'm really glad I got to produce 4 videos this week, because the last couple weeks I haven't been able to do that. And like, the whole way to grow is like consistency. And you know what I'm saying? I haven't been consistent. So I'm glad I got to make 4 videos this week. Like 4 videos is key. I feel productive then. It's when I made 4 videos during the week, and then I work all weekend. I go back at it, make another 4 videos. So I won't talk your ear off anymore. I really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you stay tuned for us to put this whole situation together. I hope you guys learned as much as I did in this whole situation, because I did learn a lot about placement of thermostats and all that. And some people knew already, some people didn't. You know, whatever. I just make the videos as they show up. You know what I'm saying? I show you like my actual experience with this stuff. My opinions, my feelings about all of it. It goes up. You know what I'm saying? So I hope still, even though I hope people learn. I hope some people can take something from like this video and the last couple videos. And I can't wait to see all this done and together. I still got to put the circuit breaker on the power wire also and mount that under the hood. I got to mount the relay. I still got a lot of stuff to do with that fan system, but we learned so much today that I'm okay with it. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I really appreciate you guys watching. I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.